Hey, Brent Porcio, Adam Garcia, Stephen Godani, TopVelocity.net. This is the @TopVelocity hashtag pitching tips show where we answer your questions that you post on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram about anything pitching or what we do here at Top Velocity. So if you don't know already, go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and ask your question at Top Velocity or at Stephen Godani, hashtag pitching tips, and we're going to answer it on the next episode. So we got a question today. What's the question today, Stephen?
Brett Haney asked, what are some good drills for hip to shoulder separation?
Great question. One of the key principles of 3X pitching is hip to shoulder separation. I didn't develop or discover that principle. Really came from the works of the NPA, the National Pitching Association, and Tom House. I just built on it in my own career, and that's where triple extension, force vectors, which really define 3X pitching, which those are terminology that I brought into pitching. So if you've heard anyone talk about triple extension in pitching with a force vector, more than likely it's come from Top Velocity, it's come from my works here with 3X pitching. So good drills. I'm going to send you to the programs. We have, and I'll show you one right now, but we have the bounce, the 3X bounce, which is in the beginner's drills. The 3X bounce is a good little drill. All the sled work or the two-phase delivery where you break the phases up with the sleds really helps train it. Learning the two-phase delivery. If just search on YouTube right now, two-phase delivery, Top Velocity, just to make sure you get it. And watch that video. Really helps you understand truly what is hip to shoulder separation. And then there's drills using the two phases, like with sleds, and just using it in your full delivery, breaking up the phases is a great hip to shoulder separation drill. And of course, all the separation throws, med throws and target throws in the Ace Pitcher Handbook are great hip to shoulder separation throws. And even on top of that, which we bring in the assistance bands in the level 2, once again, work on hip to shoulder separation. So if you're getting it, most of the program is working on hip to shoulder separation, and there is tons of drills to help you do it. So the one you could do right now, it's called the 3X bounce. I like to start, which we start mainly in the program, is feet straight. Now you don't have to get too long of a stride here, but get feet straight. I'd say at least 60%, if at best 80% of your height, okay? And what you're gonna do is you let your hips push open, and then you're gonna turn your shoulders all the way closed, and you wanna actually separate your hips from shoulders. So if this is my back hip, it's pushing forward, I take my back shoulder and I pull it back. The best way to pull your shoulder back is with that elbow. Pull that elbow behind your back, and that pulls your shoulder back. It's also good to not have any early trunk rotation, which is hard on your arm, to keep this shoulder in line, okay? Not tucked, even lining up your elbow with that hip to shoulder pulling away. From here, you can just bounce. Basically, I like to lift my front foot and kind of push off my back foot and then pinch my blade. Pinch that elbow back and squeeze your scap and just kind of repeat that movement. Just bounce like this. So where you actually see my hips going forward and my shoulders going back. So it's just simple. You're just feeling the hips going forward and the shoulders going back. And it gives you a sense of hip to shoulder separation. And it's crazy because a lot of guys can't even do that. They'll be sitting here going like, and everything goes together, and it's because your mind has never separated or done that movement, and it takes time to rewire all that and get it down. It's one of the most challenging things to start to learn in pitching is that movement, because it's a counter movement. And counter movements, I always relate a counter movement to playing the drums. Not that I'm a drummer, but you know how playing the drums, you got to keep a different beat on the bass drum at your foot than on the snares at the top. So, initially everybody's doing it all together, and then you learn how to separate it, and I can't even separate it because I've never trained it. That's a similar thing here. It's a counter movement. One movement's doing one thing, and the other movement's doing the opposite. So just doing this little bounce drill in the mirror until you get it down, you feel comfortable with it, is a great place to start with hip to shoulder separation. So Adam's been working on it too, something that he doesn't do as well as we'd like. What do you think? What's been your favorite drill to helping you with hip to shoulder separation?
I'd say probably the 3X velocity system with the separation throws with the med ball and obviously the baseball. I mean, when you get on if you have the plate, when you actually get down there, and when you're actually, because what we do is you put your back foot on the plate, and then you'll separate your hips and your shoulders, and you'll keep this hip here, and you keep your shoulders back. So when you actually learn, you actually get that drive off the plate, and you can keep your shoulders back, you really feel that core torque, and you really feel yourself separating.
Yeah.
And getting through the baseball.
And the challenge is, and for him, is he knows he wants to hear that plate bang before he starts shoulder rotation, because when that plate bangs, that means his hips have pushed through, because that's the leg drive, and then he can start shoulder rotation. That means he's separated. That's been really helpful for him. And the plate is the King of the Hill plate. If you don't know about the King of the Hill plate, go to topvelocity.net, look at products, and just search for the 3X Velocity Development Kit with the King of the Hill plate. There's actually a program that goes with it. It's a great device that will help that with my drills that you get in the program, or you can also use it in the 3X Pitching Velocity program. And that plate is a great way to do it. What's one of your favorite drills?
I usually like to just do it at home. It's kind of like the bounce, but I'll do it here too. Just do the feet together, separation, and I'll just kind of start like trying to get my arm back, and then drive my legs forward and try to pull it back as far as I can, and really try to feel the separation between my hip shooting forward and my arm getting caught behind here.
Yeah, and it's just really learning the mechanical component, which is learning how to drive the hips through first. And it's easier when you're learning just to do it with your feet straight. And then learning that late arm cocking, which really helps leverage and separate the shoulders. And just literally doing it in your room, doing the movement you've learned on topvelocity.net about separating the two phases, because you watched that video on the two-phase delivery, and just doing, mimicking those mechanics in your room in a mirror is excellent way to start learning hip to shoulder separation. All right, so if you haven't already, go to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and ask us your question at Top Velocity, #pitching tips, and we're gonna answer it on the next episode. And we really appreciate you guys watching. And if you really like what you're watching, please share this, or ideally subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get the latest notification of the next video.
Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard.